Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I have a different video. This is going to be a walkthrough of my completed reading journal. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or a warm cup of tea and let's explore my reading. Let's look over my layouts, and hopefully this video can be inspirational and can give you some ideas on how to do your reading journal as well. So hi guys, so welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at my reading journal. Now this one is a completed journal and it is actually for 2024. So yes, I know I'm super late to share how this looks, but I was actually organizing my studio and I realized I never actually shared this with you. So we're gonna be taking a look at these. So the notebooks that I use for my reading journal, at least this one is a notebook therapy, and the same one is the one that I used for last year. So sometimes I mix and match. The year prior to that I did my own journal, so it was a handmade journal. I don't have it with me to share with you, but anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at the completed one for 2024. So I have changed the way that I do my journals from previous years. I have simplified it because life is just too busy, and I do want my journal to be a place to basically talk about the books that I read and to relax. I don't want this to be overwhelming and overwork. I don't want it to be a stressful process. I just want it to be something to relax with, a cozy cup of tea after I finish a book and just talk about the book in general. But I do like to keep some stats that I think help me to see, to get an overview of how my reading is going throughout the year. Now for this one, I actually started it on the beginning or at the middle of 2024, and then I finished it sometime a couple months ago. So I'm always behind, but that's okay. So the images that you will see throughout the journal are actually printouts from a Facebook group that I join, and from time to time they post these beautiful reading images, and so I just went to the page and I downloaded a few of them and I used them as my cover page here and also as cover page for the month. You can also find beautiful static images on like Pinterest or the internet, but just make sure they are copyright free because you don't want to steal anybody's art. So that's where that came from. And so over here on the first page, I like to do a reflection of my reading and where I am and what is my goal, what I'm looking for to explore, to grow my reading, and basically what reading means to me. So over here it says, to me, reading to me is finding peace and escaping from reality for just a minute, to travel and explore new places, learn lessons, learn about the past, and imagine a world of fantasy. My favorite place to read is in my cozy chair, the sofa, or outside in the patio. I love reading as I take a break from work, waiting for the girls from school or volleyball, and of course I like to read before bed. I don't care how late it is, I need to read a few pages of my book, and that is so true. And sometimes I just want to read a book so I can fall asleep, but a lot of the times I stay up way too late because books are so interesting that I just completely lose all, like the tiredness, and I just want to read for a long time. So I started actually setting up alarms so I don't pass my bedtime way too much because I'm reading a book. But anyway, my goal for this year is to train myself to read faster and to concentrate more in the book, avoiding outside distractions. I need to take time to myself, how much I read per 20 minutes. So that was my goal, to time myself to see how much I read in a period of time. And again, this was something that I noted at the beginning when I started this journal. And I think I have changed my views on that, because some books I can read really fast because they're thriller books and I just really want to know what's going on. And some books I take my time, I savor the pages, I take, like the lessons that the book is giving you, and I like to take notes. So I think timing yourself is probably not the best way to enjoy reading, because it's not a competition and it's not about the numbers. It's about enjoying the book and just, reading at the pace that you are at that time. Anyway, another goal is to read more classics and more physical books. And I put that because I think for 2023 I was reading a lot, but a lot of my books were audiobooks, and so I find it more relaxing to sit down and read a physical book than to have an audiobook going as I'm doing chores or driving. I still do that, but I also want to prioritize to actually take time to sit down and read and enjoy the book in its physical form. But yeah, so at the end I said I'm excited for a new year. So now let's get to the layouts, which is what we're here for. So this year I lowered my goal to read because, again, like I mentioned, on 2023 I read I think 103 books. I don't remember how many, but I just wanted to read more physical books and I wanted to read bigger books, and so I didn't want to have a big goal just to hit a number, but a reference number, I guess. So I drew these bookcases, and I love how these came out. I know it's a very simple graphic, but I just drew these on pen. I didn't even pre-sketch anything, and I went ahead and put in here like a cozy chair. This chair is the same chair that my daughter has in her room. That's her reading chair. It's literally hanging off the ceiling, which it sounded really cozy for a cute place to read. However, because the chair keeps moving, it's not the most practical, because then as you're reading you get a little, kind of like seasick. So now we just use that chair for decoration. But I thought it was really cute to kind of draw that here. Then I draw, of course, my dog Mia's always with me in her bed. And then I just put my bookcases here. So when I first did this, I just put the empty, and everything was empty and on color. So as I was reading, and by as I was reading I mean basically when I finished the journal I came back and color, and I do have a color coding key, so I kind of went by that on how many of what type of book I read, and I'll show you that on the next few pages. But here in the bookcase I put my kitty, because my kitty loves to sleep in the bookcase. She has a little corner, the bookcase, in my office. And then over here I just did a little kind of like a bookcase table, which is what I have with my vinyl player here, because I do love to, at least at this time I did really enjoy listening to my vinyl players disc, but I don't, for some reason I kind of stopped doing that. But anyway, at the time that's what I was inspired by, the current things that I was enjoying. Oh, and then so I was able to draw 65 books. Now the ones that are not colored is because I didn't read all those books. So I read 60 books on this year, so I color only 60 books. So if I want to have like a goal of reading 100 books, I will probably draw 100 little books, and this is kind of like the goal page. See if I meet the goal. Everything will be colored at the end of the year. Let me check my previous one, because that's a concept that I really like. So this is the previous one, and this one has a lot more detail in terms of like hand things made. You can see the new one is a lot more simple in that sense. So where is that page? Oh, here. So I have kind of like the same concept, and again I drew a bunch of books at the beginning of the year, and I was writing the names as I was reading them, and then I came back and colored whatever the type of book, if it was a thriller or, whatever genre it was. So that's how that look. I just love doing this bookcase page, but I can tell you here what I've changed. So I do no longer do the names on the actual books because it's just really hard to read. It's very small. So for this one I decided to not do that, just to simply color it. And I came up with a new way to put the names, which is a page that I will show you here coming up. The next page is my 24 books to read on 2024. So these are books that I am highly excited to read, either new releases or books that I wanted to read on 2020, on the year prior, that I didn't get to, or books that I heard really good reviews about. So those go on this list of what to read for 2024 or for the next year. So I did read all of these books on 2024, so that goal was met, and I'm just really happy about that. So this is the additional, or the other way that I found to write down the books that I was reading instead of putting them on these tiny spaces. As I finish a book, I just came here and wrote down, well, actually, let me take that back. Since I started this at the middle of the year, I actually copy everything, and then I probably started somewhere over here to actually write down the books that I was finishing. But the point is that I thought it was better to know what book I was reading in whatever order, and that way I was keeping the number of which books I was reading. So I made it to 60 books for that year, for this year. And so that's my reading log. As you can see, pretty simple, just a page with a title and numbering all the books I read, and I just put 2 little stickers. So really trying to simplify the work, but still having a lot of meaning. So just another sticker here, and this is another one of those pages that I downloaded from the Facebook group. Now a little tip here is to print your pages on sticker paper. So I went ahead and printed all of these designs that you will see on sticker paper, so that way they're super easy to peel off and just glue them down, and also you don't see the lines from the glue anymore, or your page won't wrinkle because of the glue. But I just really like how practical it was to just print them on sticker paper and cut it and put it on notebook here. Then this page was actually left blank and empty until I finished the journal, because it was the page for my book of the year, which it was for 2024, Sharp Heart by Emily Habeck. And it is such a beautiful book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it, especially if you're going through loss and changes that are very drastic in your life. And for 2024, it was a really difficult year for me. As you may know, it was when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she passed away really quickly after that. So it was shocking for me, it was traumatic, and I can say that this book really helped me a lot understand some things that were really escaping my control, and it was so healing to kind of learn how to accept some things. So I'm gonna read really quick what I wrote in here, because it's kind of like a review of the book. So I put Sharp Heart, it's my book of the year because it helped me a lot during very difficult times. It gave me strength and understanding to cope with things I was going through with the difficult diagnosis of my mom. It also made me believe with more certainty that there is more to life than this one, and that letting go is also part of loving someone so much. As painful as it is, because we do not feel the other person, we do not want to make the other person feel bad for not being able to stay with us. So that was what I wrote, how it helped me. But I will quickly tell you, in Shark Heart, you're following is a love story. It's not a book of, about religious. It's not religious at all, and it's definitely not not a kind of like a grieving book or self-help or anything. It's just a beautiful love story about a couple that are married, and the husband is diagnosed with this really rare disease where he's turning into a shark. So he's turning into a shark, and it's something that he can't change, and he feels really bad, and the wife feels really bad. They can't find solutions to his sickness, but eventually he starts discovering and feeling more like a shark, and in that way he's kind of in a way excited now to be a shark, to go explore this new world of being a shark. And the wife is also learning how to maybe somehow let go and respect him and understand him, that now his happiness is no longer on the life that he used to live, but he's moving on to bigger things that she doesn't understand right now, but she's just happy to let him go. And I'm not spoiling the book. Read it. That's actually part of the description as well. He turns into a shark. But it's so lyrical, so beautiful, so many beautiful quotes. But anyway, I'm gonna move on so we don't make this video too long. So that was my book of the year, and I highly, highly recommend it. So on the next section here, I just put my favorites by the month. And so very simple. I just printed out little stickers on my book. So that's something that I do take the time to do because I love doing that, is showcasing the book covers. So I go ahead and first, on my list of 2024 books that I want to read, I get them from the internet, and then I size them all little, and then I print one page of that. And then I printed, and then after, when I knew which one was my book of the month for each month, I reprinted on that same size, those books. But then you will also see, as I go through my actual review of the books, I print the books bigger. And I get most of my covers from Goodreads, so I do have the Goodreads app, and so when I'm finished, for the month or every 2 months or however often I do this, I would just print the full size, or like it's kind of like a 2x3 size of the book. So I just copy the images on a Word document, make a full sheet, print it. It takes a little time to take the screenshots and put them, but it's all part of the relaxing process of working in your journal. Then over here, so I will just quickly share with you my favorite book of each month. Of course, for January, Shark Heart. Then we have Bird Box for February, because it's just such a good thriller. Then I have The Woman by Christine Hanna, an amazing book. Then this one was surprising to me, the reappearance of Rachel Price, because this is a young adult, but it was so good, so good. And yeah, so I won't go through all of them, but I really like the Britney Spears book as well. Like, I just found so many good quotes from her book that are so relatable, and I just really like that. But yeah, so on the back over here, what I did is I designated a color to each one of the genres that I was reading, and then for each one of the months I basically just put how many squares or how many books I read each month, and then I just matched that to the colors. And I didn't realize when I did this that it was gonna bleed through the back, which it was so sad when I figured that out. So for the future, because what I like to do also is like glue a couple pages together to make them thicker. So maybe I should have done 2 pages together here. Or I can just use color pencils instead of markers in the future. But anyway, it's really interesting to see how what types of books I like to read. So as you can see, I love my thrillers all year round. I mean, they're so fast to read and exciting to read. But you can kind of see the tendencies of like horror the beginning of the year. I try to incorporate some classics, which is something that I wanted to do more of, but it is what it is, right? And then I'll just do a quick flip through of the month. So I just do January really fast and printed the image and yeah, kept it very simple. And so what I like to do over here is just use some scrapbook paper to add a little color, and I will put this sticker. So okay, so I do like printing my books all at once. So what I do is I actually start doing the review and I just leave it blank. I leave the space for the book later on, and so that way I don't get too behind on my reviews. And I just like to put the title, the author, how many stars I'm giving the book, which I have to find a different way because I really don't like drawing and coloring the stars. It's just so much. I need like a little stamp set or something because I don't like it. I don't like doing that anymore. I'm not doing it this year. It just takes me forever to color those stars. So yeah, so I like to grab one piece of scrapbook paper and just rip it and glue it on the corners, and so I don't have to worry about decorating or anything. I just decorate mainly with the book, which is all I really need this journal for, is to keep track of what I'm reading and my general review, what I've learned from the book, what I thought was really interesting, if I will read the book again. And the funny thing is, I also don't like spoiling myself if I want to reread the book, because I don't want to read it and then spoil myself, because I do sometimes forget about the books, like the little details. But I will definitely put on my review that I will read it again. So I put about, I write down what I've learned from the book. If it was a thriller, there's not so much to learn on thrillers generally, but they're just a fun ride and exciting time. So I will put that in there, like I thought the plot was really good, or it was unexpected or whatnot, and that I will definitely read it again. So that's just as far as I go for that. And so yeah, so then we go to the next month, and again I do like using the same color for the whole month. So also when I'm opening my journal and I'm like, okay, what month is that? And then if I do this, I know I am on a different month already. So I like that type of system there. So February, I really love these 2 books. Actually, I like Bird Box. I did not like Mallory so much, but that's okay. And then some romance. Actually, this is romance. This is a classic. And so I try to make the image of the month kind of match the season a little bit. So this is the month that I read Kristen Hanna, The Woman. I do have to say, some months I might read 2 books that I really like, but I only write down one of my favorites, right? Here, like I write down what was my favorite book that month. But for some months, I might not like all the books that I read, like to a 5-star, and I will put whatever was the closest, like my favorite for that month. But for example, there might be another month where I had 2 favorites that I like more than the favorite for the month. So I need to figure out a way to just write down my favorites and not so much my favorites of the month, because then some of the favorites that I had they just get forgotten because they weren't the one for the month. So maybe I will change it for next year and be like favorites of the month, and I can put 2 or 3 if they're really worth it. But yeah, so I really like this series. The new book just came out for I think it's called What? Oh, I can't remember the name. But it's by T. Kingfisher. I actually just got it and I am excited to read it. But yeah, so this is April. Look how beautiful the girl. Oh, again with the scary books. This one was, the cover's so scary. The book was okay. It was okay for I put in here, this was an okay story, perfect for a little scary afternoon. Short story about a haunted house with Japanese folklore mystery about a dead bride under the house. Oh yeah, like I think there was someone either buried in the house or within the walls. It was like a folklore, Japanese folklore, but which I like the concept. I just didn't like the way that I don't know. It wasn't. I don't know. I don't remember why I didn't like it so much, but it wasn't super. I was expecting more, I guess I should say. And then for these Frida McFadden, which I love, but I read her books so fast. These are one of the books that you grab and then literally you can finish it in a day or two. And I love them because I give them pretty high ratings because they keep me entertained and busy, and I just love them. But I read so many of her books that I get it mixed up. So it's good to come back here and I don't spoil myself, but at least I remember, okay, so that's that book and that's this book. Yeah, sometimes when you read too fast, it's just they all start kind of like blending together, and this is why I was trying to switch more onto physical books. I feel like you retain more when you read physical books than on like an audiobook sometimes, but that's just my personal opinion. Then here's May. Look how beautiful the image for May. And I just love this book. For this one I put stickers because that color was just too plain. But normally I don't put stickers. These thrillers are really, really good, by the way. If you like kind of like a plain thriller, these books read like movies. So I really love them because this is the kind of movie that I love to watch. Like, you know, playing mysteries, and I don't know why I like that, but I do. And then this book was so sad. You know, about people getting older and challenging about aging and how the elderly people are ignored and not considered as full citizens. It was very interesting, this book. I really liked it. House of Hunger. And then I read Rosemary's Baby, which it was my mom's favorite movie, favorite book. So I definitely wanted to read it to find that connection with her again. And I loved it. Oh my god, such a good book. Then From Below, another like 5 stars. See what I mean? Like this month I had so many 5 stars. Then look at the beautiful image here for June. I read, I think, only 2 or 3 memoirs this year, this 2024. I started the Akatar series, which I like, but I realized I'm not so much into fantasy as a lot of people are. I mean, I really like the world building and the romance, but I wasn't so much into. I think the first book I really liked, the second book not so much, but this year I read the third book and I liked it again. So it goes up and down for me, but I will definitely continue with this series. I really like this book too, She's Not Sorry, and Wintering. Wintering is another book that I recommend because it's such a good mental health. It's not a self-healing book or anything like that, but it was very interesting on the perspectives of the natural need for people to slow down. Just like in nature, everything has a cycle. Like for example, fall, all the leaves start falling down, and winter is kind of like dead season, and then everything comes back to life in spring. Same thing with like some animals that, you know, they winter the whole, you know, winter, like bears, and then they come back renovated. So humans also have that need to winter, and the winter season might not align with winter itself, but it's your internal wintering season. When is it the time that you personally need to slow down? It might not be the same for everybody, like we don't all hibernate on winter, but we do definitely go through our seasons of life where you just want quiet and, slowing down. And then there's just times of the year where you really have all the energy in the world. So I really like that. I really like that concept of understanding your body, understanding what you're going through, and slowing down, being okay with that. I really love this fairy tale by Stephen King too. Highly recommend it. It's like the perfect mix of fairy tale story, like fantasy, and like underworld darkness. I think I really liked it. I want to see this on a movie. I think it will be really cool. Same thing with this one. Then August, my birthday month. Look how beautiful the image here. And then I started more cozy mystery on August, and definitely thrillers, because I do like doing kind of like summer wing. And here's the second book that I read. I mean, I rated 4 stars, so it's not too bad. And yeah, more cozy mysteries and a romance book there, which I don't read a lot of romance, but I do like them sometimes. September, look at this cute image there. And then of course September reads are more mysteries, cozy mysteries. I love this book, The Christmas Guest, although it was, it came out on September last year, so I read it right away, but I should have maybe waited until Christmas time. This one was okay, probably one of the most disappointing books I read this year, because I'm very selective, because if I don't like a book, I DNF it, and whatever I DNF, they don't go in here, by the way. I just started, give it a go. If I don't like it, if I don't connect with the book, it doesn't even make it to my list, because I don't want to explain why I DNF it, and maybe in the future I want to try it again, so I don't want to do all that. But some that I do get to finish, and they're just okay. 3 stars is not a bad rating actually, but it's just kind of like, okay, I'm gonna finish it, but I'm not super excited about the book. This one was really good, really sad, and it's actually a young adult book, but when I read it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is devastating. Like, actually, my daughter gave it to me because she started reading it, and she read like the first 2 chapters, and she said, this book's not for me. It's too intense. I don't want it. So she gave it to me. And I read it right away because I wanted to see what she was talking about, and it was so hard to read. I even put in here, this book was hard to read and very emotional. We follow Charlie, a 17-year-old that has already gone through so much in life, and it was hard to read for me, having my daughters at around the same age, and but at the end, I said it's a beautiful story, because it says becoming who you are in spite of everything. So I can see obviously it will have a happy ending because it's young adult, but it was pretty hard to go through, so I understand why, and I'm glad my daughter didn't read it. And this is a really good thriller. I really enjoyed that. And this one also, I really love the books that go in like time loops. So if you like time loop books, kind of like Groundhog Day, that you live the day over and over again until this is a good one. Cassandra in Reverse. And then we get to October. Look at the beautiful arts over here. And yeah, I just read these books because they were recommended by one of the YouTubers I really, really love, but they were definitely not for me. This book was very weird, so I gave it a higher rating because I did find a lot of good commentary on this book. But the other one, yeah, I could not. I mean, yeah, I don't recommend it. And then more cozy mystery and thrillers. And I read the book of Matthew Perry, which I cried so much for like a couple days. Like after, I was just so devastated. Obviously, I was a big fan of Friends, and reading his book, knowing now that he's passed, what he actually went through during the time, and all his battles, it was just so like, I wish he would have opened up at the time, and not to be judgmental, not for people to judge him, but like for him to not try to keep everything in secret, and for the for the benefit of the show, but to actually reach out. And anyway, I think we all knew what he was going through, but it was never spoken out loud. And I just think that that was probably more damaging for him, trying to keep an appearance when he was struggling so much. And it's very sad. But then November, but also sad, but happy. Okay, I don't want to say it's so sad, because he's had such a good sense of humor, apparently from the beginning, and he wrote so much of him to his character that you could definitely see it on his story. So it was one of those books that you read, and on one page you're laughing and the other page you're crying. Okay, so that's what I meant to say by that. But November reads more Frida McFadden, because I love her, and then more of my thrillers. And this book also really good. More Tiki and Fisher. 5 stars this book. Oh, love that. I actually love this one too. I don't know why I didn't put 5 stars on here. I'm gonna have to come back and redo that, because I really love this book to this day. Love it. And then December. So more fantasy on December. This book, I don't know what got into me to pick this up. It's not my type of book that I read, like a romantic fantasy with some darkness to it. But I remember it was probably a review that somebody said something about challenges and kind of like a game on this house, and I really like that. The fact that she, the girl that is on the story, it was going through loss. She lost her mom, and she was trying to save her sister, so she goes into this house to find her. But then I guess on this house, whoever survived, in order to survive, you have to pass your all the challenges, right? And when she's on that journey, because she's in there looking for her sister, because her sister went into this house, she goes through all these different challenges and she falls in love. But it's not that got me. What got me was when you discover the family history and the ending. Oh my gosh, 5 stars. Like, definitely not the type of book that I normally like to read and gravitate towards, but I fell in love with this book. And the second one's already out and I have it, so I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but I have to. And more of my thrillers. This one's actually really good. He is the same author that wrote Jurassic Park, and I guess he passed before the book was finished, so then it was finished. I guess the wife, somebody had an agreement to this other author, James Patterson, to finish the book for him. So it was really good. It felt like a movie. Definitely, it felt like you're watching Jurassic Park, escaping these, not dinosaurs, by the way, I'm just saying, that's how it felt, like really exciting, adventurous. I could definitely see this book as a movie, and I would love to see it as a movie, because it was just so fast-paced. It was very interesting. But anyway, My Best Friend's Exorcism, another really good book with all the 80s, 90s vibes. Definitely the time that I was growing up. So I really love that. And I love the friendship and the desire to be heard and to, above anything and everything, save your friend. And just never be tired of, speaking your truth, because that's what eventually is gonna get you to somewhere, to help us, right? So anyway, love those books. And then I read the Ministry of Time. I sometimes, this, I think this is a little bit of a sci-fi. I think that's why I put sci-fi, and I don't know why I didn't put sci-fi as a sci-fi here. But anyway, so I didn't like it too much. I don't know, it was kind of a little bit boring for me. I should have put that one here as a 1, because I think this is sci-fi. But it's also kind of like the time loop It's a time traveler type of story, but it just really didn't connect with the book very much. Um, yeah, but I guess it was entertaining for the time that I was reading it. But that is my reading journal for 2024. Super late to share this with you, but hopefully this will give you some inspiration if you want to do reading journal. It doesn't have to be fancy or elaborate. You don't have to have the perfect layouts. As I see many beautiful ones, so they're definitely intimidating. Mine is just like, let's look what we read, and it's okay to not be perfect or fancy. 2 steps. I do this once a month with that, and if you guys want to see me work on my 2025 journal, because I have a lot to catch up on, I'll be happy to do some maybe process videos on that. But I hope that you guys enjoy spending a little bit of time here with me with this type of different video, just sharing my reading journal. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.